Hey everybody, this is Will, and in this video, I want to give you a preview of the brand new Pad Player expansion for Pad Player called Subtle Textures Volume 2. Now, if you're not familiar with Pad Player, essentially what it is it's a instrument and device for Ableton Live 10 that allows you to create infinite drone pads that are expressive and dynamic and don't take up a lot of space on your computer. So if you're familiar with the concept of using drone pads either for composition or for live performance, what I can do is trigger a MIDI clip here, and I could do this live in the moment spontaneously, or I could pre-program this to work with all of my stems and multi-tracks. So as I build up my set, I can trigger sounds and songs. So let's trigger the key of G. And this is going to start playing. Now, typically when you're working with a pad like this, what you hear is what you get. Like that's all you have, right? So if I were to trigger this and start this, that sound is all I have. And it's not a bad sound, but in and of itself, it's not, super inspiring or super great to me. But what's great is this is dynamic and this is expressive. So let me show you some general features of Pad Player, and then we'll demo the brand new sounds. And I've also got our creator's piano loaded in, which is a separate purchase that is available for Ableton Live 11 Suite, where I'll kind of play along. And I'm not a piano player, but I'll show you how well this pairs with the piano and why it's so fun and expressive. So I could trigger this sample, and on my MIDI controller in front of me, I've actually mapped these controls on the Pad Player. So let's trigger the key of G here. And I want to filter out some of this high-end content. So I'm going to move this fader on my keyboard. And again, this is dynamic, so I'm starting to filter out this sound. But I want to add a little bit of motion, a little bit of movement. So we're going to turn this up. Okay, a little too much there. Let's open our filter now. Now let's add an octave into this. So I'm going to turn this up. Okay, let's add our fifth. And if I wanted to add a third to this, so if it's a major key, major chord, I could add a third in. Okay, let's bring our third out. We could open our filter back up. And again, you could see even with just opening and closing that filter, how dynamic this pad works, right? So we can go to where we essentially completely lose the sound to opening it back up mid-song just to change the dynamic. Now, in addition to doing this, we can change our different sounds, and this is what gets us into our Pad Player expansion. So by default, we get 5 sounds included with Pad Player. With Subtle Textures Volume 2, we get 5 brand new sounds. So let me demo those for you. So the way we do this is we can change to sound 6 here, and I've added this expansion to the Pad Player, and we have support material that shows you how to do that. Let's open our filter up, and let's re-trigger our key here. So that's going to fade us to our new sound. And you'll hear all of these subtle textures are exactly that. They're very subtle. They kind of sit in the background. They're unnoticed. They just are kind of a constant that's going to stay there in the background without getting in the way. And again, all of this is completely expressive and live in the moment. I can take away our octave. I could bring our octave back in. I could take our fifth out, push our fifth if we wanted to make this sound a little bigger, a little more expressive. Let's listen to our next sound here. We'll bring some of our octave down here. Let's go to our next sound. So we'll re-trigger this key to fade to our next sound. You can hear that's a little brighter, but it's still pretty subtle. Again, we get that dynamic by moving our filter. Big part of the song, small part of the song. And essentially all that we're playing is just a single note, right? We're not playing anything else with that, although we are adding our fifth in if we want that. But this allows us to go from, again, big portions to small portions of the song. So let's re-trigger this, get our next sound. Okay, here's our next sound. And here we get a smooth fade between all of these. For our final one here, let's change keys. So let's go to the key of C. And because I changed my sound, I'm going to change key and sound as well too. And you could see with doing that how fun and flexible this is. You could probably start to imagine how fun and flexible this is using this with a keyboard, right? And playing keys on top of this. So I'll play just some of our creator piano, play a couple different sounds here. Let's try this one. And then again, because Pad Player is expressive, I can open the filter as the dynamic of the song grows. And then as we get lower, I can bring it lower. And then again, if I want to make this smaller, let's go back just so you can see visually what's happening here. I could take our octave out. We just get back to kind of 1 and 5, or we can slowly over time fade out our 5 there. And then we could filter out our pad player, and eventually we can hit stop so we even get a smooth fade out of that pad. So that's a look at Subtle Textures Volume 2, which is the new pad expansion for the pad player instrument for Ableton Live. It's available for Ableton Live 10 and higher, so you can use it in 11 if you want to, in standard and suite, as well as intro. So that's a look at pad player plus the Subtle Textures Volume 2 expansion. I should mention, in order to use Subtle Textures, you do have to have pad player. So that is a purchase that you have to have in order to get that shell. But it's a great solution both for composition as well as live performance. I've included the link in the description of this video if you're interested in either of those. And as I always mention, if you're a From Studio to Stage subscriber, then use your credits that you get with your subscription to purchase completely for free. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. We'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.